Alrighty guys, so let me tell you another function of SKN that a lot of people don't realize even exists, and some that do don't even know how it benefits you or how it can, right? So we talked about this before in other videos, but let me show you now. We're going to talk about the merge function and how that can save you, honestly, disk space. You don't always need it, but sometimes you need it for a specific reason. Let me show you how it works. So while this runs, I'm going to remind you, let's go ahead and put this preset that I have on this shot of Brianna. While it runs, I'm going to tell you, we create, all of our NBP panels to work on the layers palette actively. We don't open up a new third-party UI where you do all your functions and then, hit your prompt OK, and then you're done. We wanted everything. That's sort of our mission, is everything to happen actively on the layers palette. This allows for, unprecedented flexibility, right? And as you can see with the way SKN is setting up the cleanup process, there is, a process, right? But when all this process is done, you have flexibility to use all the tools here actively. But for lack of a better term, one of the downsides is that you end up with a folder with tons of data in it, right? Because these things are all actively changeable through the UI, right? But there's a lot of data there. So if you look down here, you notice that when I opened my image, it was 137 megabytes. Now with the SKN folder, we are at 902 megabytes, which is of course almost a gigabyte, and that's pretty large. If we save the file now, that's what we'll have, is 902 megabytes. But if you have a situation where, you say, hey, I want to save all my settings here because I don't know what I'll do later, or I need to save it because, I don't know, it's the master hero shot of a project and you want to have them there. Yes, you can save a preset, absolutely. But if you need to save this for any reason and want to reduce file size, you can't. Let me show you. Go back to the main panel here, and on the bottom, there's this little merge button. Okay, so let's go ahead and click that. It's a pretty fast process when it does it initially. There you go. All the other layers that SKN initially created are gone. Look down here at the file size, and we see 352 megabytes. So it's about a third of the size, roughly, of what happens when SKN's cleanup folder is not merged. Okay, so you can save right now 352 megabytes. And you might think, okay, how does that help me? I have now one layer and a mask. Okay, so when you open it up later, whether it's on the same computer or later on somewhere else on another computer, if you send it to someone else who has SKN, they can hit, once they open it, they hit the rebuild button, because the SKN recognizes that this is a merged layer, and you can hit rebuild. During the rebuild, it's effectively going to take all that metadata that, has all the information of what all those cleanup settings were, and then rebuild it actively, right? If you preserve, your PSD files and you like all your layers all the time, cool. This is, I recommend that, don't get me wrong, but this is a great way to keep your file size down while doing that. Again, not mission critical, not something you're going to need all the time, but still a cool function that we thought would be beneficial in certain situations or for certain workflows, right? So once again, we're back up to 902 megabytes, as you can see down here. All right. And we have all our layers once again. So it's sort of like a preset, but like a preset that's dedicated to that file, if you will. And again, it can make either, keeping your capacity down on your hard drives or on the cloud, or when you send something to somebody, it'll be about a third of the size, at least when it came to the SKN work. So don't forget that. Merge and rebuild, cool functions every now and then. That's exactly what you need when it comes to file management.